Hey everyone, I'm gonna go ahead and I've got a game of Dice Phone using Season 2 set up, and I'm gonna go ahead and play two characters simultaneously. So it's not really set up for solo, but I do this often. Basically just control two players, try and do what's best for each of those players. So got a game set up, Cursed Pirate versus the Huntress. Everything is set up here. Cursed Pirate already won the roll-off, so they'll be going first. Yeah, we'll see how this works. Mostly just trying to test the audio through the iPhone. Do have the air conditioner running in the back, so I don't know how much issue that's going to give us. But just trying to test some things out and see what type of equipment I might still need. The camera angle isn't great either, but just trying to see how I might want to do these moving forward. So you can't really see anything. I'll try and explain some things as we go. I don't know how much I'll be talking throughout the game. But yeah, this is just more than anything a test. Home alone tonight. Maria's working late, so yeah, thought I'd just spend the next hour playing a game of Dice Throw. So we'll get started. So I'm gonna go ahead and try and show the cards for the Cursed Pirate here and see what that looks like on the screen. It's kind of a starting hand here for the Cursed Pirate. Definitely getting some glare from the light in the background, but that's what the Cursed Pirate has to work with. So we have to skip our income phase, but we do have the upkeep phase. Doesn't really impact the Cursed Pirate because her passive takes effect at the conclusion of her offensive turn. But for setup, we do begin the game with 3 Cursed Doubloons. So on the back of the Cursed Pirate's player aid, there's some information there, FAQs, but some setup instructions. And actually, both of these characters have those setup instructions. So I'll talk about the Huntress when it's her turn. But we're going to start the game with 3 Cursed Doubloons, and ultimately, it's kind of a little bit of a game within a game of trying to decide how long I can hold on to these Cursed Doubloons. Because if I ever end my turn without a Cursed Doubloon on my board, I have to flip it over to the cursed side. And so that looks very different. More powerful abilities, but also I'm going to die. So I'm taking damage at the start of every turn if my board ends up becoming flipped. So start the game with 3 of those. Do not get an income phase since I'm the first player. And the Cursed Pirate, uniquely, the only character that doesn't have ability upgrades on the board. So I do have a couple main phase cards. I don't, just based on the price where I'm at with combat points right now, I don't think I'm going to play any of those. We're just going to go right into the Cursed Pirate's offensive roll phase. Okay. So I'm going to take my dice here and roll all 6 and see what happens. So I've got 3 of her cutlasses, and that's number 1, 2, 3. So a decent shot at a straight. I've also got a 5, 6. It's early in the game here. I'm gonna hold on to the 1, 2, 3. See what I can add to them. There are 2 more 1s. So 7 damage. Not a bad first roll. I could roll again. Maybe try and get that small straight. The nice thing about that is potentially would allow me to inflict a powder keg. You know what? I think I will. I'm going to keep the 1, 2, 3. I'm going to roll these last 2 1s. Oh, and that worked out really well. I actually rolled a 4, 5. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can activate that large straight. So inflict powder keg. Deal 9 damage. We'll take a look at the Huntress cards here to see if she could do anything. early in the game, might not want to anyway, but that's a pretty strong first attack. And unfortunately, the Huntress just doesn't have anything that she can use there. So that's going to go into effect. So powder keg and 9 damage coming over and inflict the powder keg. Okay, over onto the Huntress. So powder keg kind of it's like a hot potato, really. At the beginning of the Huntress's upkeep phase, so if you roll a die, depending on that outcome, it can either explode and cause damage, come back to me as the cursed pirate, pass it back to me, or it'll just hang out on our board. If ever a second powder keg gets tossed onto an opponent that already has one of them blows up. So really a nice way to add a lot of damage throughout the game. So getting that large straight and that powder keg early was really great. The Huntress is kind of faced to make a decision. Typically, we'll just easily roll the defensive dice because it is just standard damage. But she does have Nira. Nira is active, so Nira could take all 9 of the damage. Huntress wouldn't have to worry about it. Part of me wants to do that just because it's early. I'd have time to heal her back up for later in the game. However, it's going to impact my attacks moving forward because when Nira is active, I get 2 more additional damage to any of my attacks. So I'm struggling with this. Haven't played the Huntress a ton, and I know keeping Nira active is going to be super critical. Another cool token for the Huntress I actually haven't picked up yet is Nira's Bond. And so if I had this, I could split the damage between Nira and the Huntress, which maybe make this decision a little easier. But I don't have that yet. So I'm in a little bit of a weird position. I think just because it's so early and because I'll have some time to heal Nira, I'm going to go ahead and let her take all that damage. So she goes down to 0 and is flipped over. During my upkeep phase, if this dial reads at least 5, flip it to make Nira active. Otherwise, heal Nira 1. So she's going to heal. She's not done, but I can bring her back. So that's kind of the conclusion of the roll phases. Cursed Pirate's going to take a look at the cards, see if she wants to do anything here. Again, I think just for the cost of some of these cards, I definitely want to be able to play like Not This Time, a Tippet. These main phase cards are actually nice, but I just don't want to put myself in a spot where I don't have any combat points. So I'm gonna go ahead and skip that main phase, and it'll move over to the Huntress main phase, or the Huntress turn. The Huntress turn in turn order here. You can see, try and keep it out of the light. That's kind of what we're looking at for turn order. So, the upkeep phase. This is kind of, generally speaking, you're looking at maybe some abilities your player has, but generally status effects are taking effect here. There's all these little tokens here, so they're positive ones that might be taking effect, or like this powder keg, a negative one that I have to deal with. And so I mentioned, powder keg's a little like a hot potato. So read that there on the screen, but generally speaking, I'm gonna roll a die. And if I roll a 1 to 2, the powder keg's gonna blow up. Huntress has to take damage. A 3 to 5, nothing happens. She just kind of hangs out there and potentially could blow up later. But on a 6, I get to pass it back to the cursed pirate. So I'm gonna roll the dice, and it's a 4. So nothing happens. Just gonna hang out. I could potentially have some cards. So actually, I should show you here. And so here's the starting hand, and I actually should since I've taken care of the upkeep phase, I'll go ahead and move into the income phase where I get a combat point and another card. And so I'll add that into the mix as well. Maybe you can't see all those really well, but I do want to at least show this one. So this could be a very good time. I just did my income phase, now I'm into my first main phase. This would be a very good time to play this. I could remove the status effect here. I'm tempted to do that. 3 damage is no fun. But I really, really, really want to get this played, especially knowing that Nira just got down. This is my upgraded defensive ability. So I have 3. I actually can't even get that yet. So I need to sell a card. So the first card I'm going to sell for a combat point, and that's something else I can do in the main phase, is sell cards for 1. So I will sell this card to get to 1, which gives me 4. And like I said, I definitely want to play this Maternal Bond 3 to increase my defense. It's just going to give me more dice to do some things. It makes my damage a little more powerful, which is going to be super helpful with Nira down. So I'm going to spend all my combat points now, combat dial, and go ahead and take that down to 0. Now, I could, and actually this works out really well, I have this getting paid card, so it's actually 0. Over here you see the cost, how much to pay. Since it's got a red border, this is an instant action card. I can pay it any time. Gain 2 combat points. So I will do that to gain 2 combat points. And I'm going to immediately spend 1 of those combat points to get that out of here, right? Yes. That costs 1, and I get to remove that token. I don't want that damage. Those powder cakes can be a pain. I'm sure that's not the only one I'll have on my Huntress board throughout the game. Okay, so that's all done. I'm going to take my offensive role phase now. And so, a lot of different things I can do here. Oh, I already made a mistake that I've caught. So during my upkeep phase, I actually should have healed Nira 1. Okay, so there is that. So Nira won't become active immediately when I hit the 5. It's during my upkeep phase, essentially after. So I'm either going to heal her 1 or look at the dial, see where it's at, and bring her back to life. Now there are other ways I can heal her, and we might see that here on this offensive role phase. So let's go ahead and make this here. Interesting. So I do have 2 6s. A 2, a 3, and a 5. Now, I've always had a little difficulty. I think the Huntress has an interesting breakdown of dice here, and I've always had a little more difficulty figuring out what abilities to kind of go for the Huntress. The 5/6 isn't bad to keep. I do have a 5, gaining Nira's bond and healing her a little quicker might not be the worst thing. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to hold on to just the 5 and roll the rest of the dice. And that has not worked out great. Rolled 2 4s, a 1 and a 2. I take that back here. It looks like I have just rolled into predatory advance. 2 spears, 2 claws, and a bonded soul gets me her predatory advance. So I've done that with 2 rolls. I am going to lock that in. It allows me to deal 5 damage and heal Nira 1. Now, Curse Pirate again could look here and see if there's anything she wants to do here, and she's not. It's some of those cards we're going to save for later. So that's going to go into effect. Get to heal Nira 1. And I get to deal 5 damage. Now, 5 damage isn't ideal. I think it's still fine to hit for that. But the Cursed Pirate can pack a pretty decent punch. Has a pretty solid defensive role, in my opinion. And so we'll see how this plays out. But typically when you're hitting the Cursed Pirate, I think you want to hit for a little more than 5. Or going for more undefendable hits. So, rolling my 4 defensive dice for the Cursed Pirate. 4, 4, 3, and a 1. So, that's going to deal 2 damage back to the Huntress. And it's going to allow me to gain 2 combat points. So that's great. 2 combat points, 2 damage to the Huntress to 48, and 5 damage to the Cursed Pirate. Now, in reading this this defense here, I would have also defended defend 2, prevent 2 damage for any skulls I roll, and then on 2 cutlass, 2 sword symbols and a skull, gain Cursed Doubloon. So reading that, I realized I did not get rid of my Cursed Doubloon from last time, so I should only have 2 of those. I'm going to go ahead and take that off the board now. Definitely something I want to keep in mind. I don't know, I've never really played the Cursed Pirate too much on the flip side, so maybe I will be a little more okay with getting her flipped over and hitting for a lot more damage. I mean, I think she's a fairly powerful attacker to begin with, especially if you trigger the right abilities. But the damage that you're taking on the upkeep phase when she's flipped over, it's always scared me a little bit. So, okay, so that's kind of where we're at there. Nothing else is going to happen. I have 1 combat point and 1 card, so I'm not doing anything with my second main phase. So it's coming back over to the Cursed Pirate. Okay. So the Cursed Pirate is going to get a combat point and a card. Oh, the Cursed Pirate is rolling in money. Combat points are not an issue, and I just drew Vegas Baby. So, for 0, I will go ahead and roll a die. I rolled a 6, so I get to add 3 combat points now. So I'm up to 8 combat points. So some of those cards that I was holding on to before, I think I might look at spending now. Certainly, Feed the Fish. This would definitely be a more powerful card if I was playing a multiplayer game, a team game, something along those lines, or King of the Hill. But since it's just a 1v1, I gotta pay 3 combat points to inflict a powder keg on up to 3 different opponents. It's just the Huntress, so we'll do that again. So again, the powder keg, I think that's the really cool thing about the Cursed Pirate. Everyone's got these status effects, but the powder keg triggers on a lot of different things on the board, some of these cards. It's just a constant barrage of those powder kegs. Quite a nuisance, really quite a nuisance. And so that's pretty cool. And I also like the fact that her deck, because she could flip sides, we don't have those player upgrades, so I don't have to stress about saving points, waiting for those cards. I know all my points are going to be going to these instant actions, main phase actions, roll phase actions, attack modifiers, those sort of things. So a lot of fun to play with. I think very early on was one of my favorite characters. Haven't played her as much lately, but she's really, really unique. Okay, so I'm not going to play anything else right now. Have a card named May play at the end of my second main phase, but right now we're going to just go into my offensive role phase. So here we are. Okay, 3, 4, 5 showed up. I also have X marks the spot already on 3 of those treasure chests on the booty. So that's good. Gain 1 combat point and roll 3 dice. Deal 2 damage, 2 undefendable damage for each cutlass I roll. Draw 1x on the cards and draw 1x Cursed Doubloons. Again, I'm really not sure how I feel about running out of this Cursed Doubloons, so that's really not bad. Knowing that the Huntress just upgraded that defense, now I've got a potentially opportunity to roll undefendable damage, and again, not give her an opportunity to heal Nira or defend against it. I actually really like that, so I'm going to lock that in. Not going to do anything else with that. Huntress has an opportunity to mess with that, but she's not going to. And again, that's kind of standard. Sometimes you can play pretty quick because it's not something they're typically going to mess with, or if you see a player's got 1 card or 0 cards, no combat points, you don't really have to ask. But generally speaking, playing role player, or excuse me, I just played role player the other day. Playing Dice Throne, it's always good to ask, hey, I'm going to trigger this, anything you want to do before it goes into effect. So nothing's going to happen here, but I am going to roll these 3 dice for X marks the spot. I rolled all, not a bad roll at all. I rolled all 3 of my dice as cutlass, as the cutlass symbol. So I'm going to go ahead and deal 6 undefendable damage to the Huntress, and there's nothing she can do about it. Nira's down. Again, if she had some cards, maybe she could avoid some of this, but right now she just has to take it. So Huntress is down to 42, 45, pretty close, tight game here right now. Yeah, we'll look here. It's the end of the roll phases. Yeah, I think I am going to go ahead. I've got plenty of combat points and spend 2 to play Swashbuckle. Okay, roll 1 die for the Cursed Pirate. On a cutlass, deal 2 damage to a chosen opponent. On the booty, on the treasure chest symbol, draw 2 cards, and on a skull, inflict powder keg. Great. So the powder keg would actually be better than the sword in this situation. I'm a little low on cards, so I wouldn't mind that either. But everything here is all good news. So we got a 6. So we inflict another powder keg. Like I mentioned before, that's the second powder keg on the Huntress. So that's just going to blow up, and I'm just going to take 3 more damage. Again, really wish Nero was up and in full health right now. That would be really good. So down to 39 over there on the Huntress. But it's a Huntress turn. Nothing else is going to happen over here. So I do get a combat point. Well, I apologize. Before I get very quick to do that. Before I do that, I actually have to do my upkeep phase. We'll take care of this. Powder keg. I rolled a 2. On a 1 to 2, the keg blows up. So that's the problem with those powder kegs. I've already taken 6 damage for those. Had to spend some combat points to mess with that. So now the Huntress very quickly is down to 36. Alright, so now I take a card and a combat point. And before I did that, I should have also, during the upkeep phase, checked on Nira. Her health out is not at 5, so I just heal her 1. Really would be good to see if I could find a way to get Nira flipped over during the next upkeep phase. So definitely some things I could look at doing here, but I also don't want to get too far behind on the damage here. So we'll go right into the roll. Actually fairly close to Savage here. I rolled 2 2s, 2 3s, and a 6. So 2 spears, 2 claws, and the saber-tooth symbol. 3 claws and a saber-tooth gets me Savage. Which isn't bad. 4 damage, roll some dice. Again, 4 damage with the Cursed Pirate isn't really what I'm looking for. With Nira down, it's just not a super strong hit. But does it give me the ability to potentially inflict bleed, gain Nira's bond, which I could then immediately use to heal Nira and get her to a spot where she would flip during my next upkeep. So, I don't hate it. I do have some cards that could potentially allow me to play a little more risky. You know what, I'm going to keep a 2 and a 3. See what we could do. This is a good number for a straight. That actually worked out really well. I rolled a 1, 4, and 5. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for my large straight, which really is kind of the best attack roll I could have with Nira down. Inflict 2 bleed and deal 7 damage. Now, fortunately, that's not going to help me get Nira back out. Caught it again. This is dang Cursed Pirate. Forgot to get rid of one of those cursed doubloons. So I will do that now. Okay, back over here. Yeah, so there's only 2 rolls. I've already locked in my large straight. I'm gonna look over here and see if the Cursed Pirate wants to do anything with that. It's not bad. Increase or decrease any die by a value of 1. So I could just come in here and completely mess it up. I don't know. I'd be interested to see what everyone else thinks about those tippet cards. I'm so hard for me to want to use one of those on defense. I've done it before, but I always like to use that tippet for an offensive attack that just is falling through, prevent me from blanking, tipping that 5 to a 6 to get to an ultimate. I'm not going to go and spend it for this, but I'm interested to see what other people think about how they like to use the tippet. Okay, so we've locked in a large straight. It's going to take effect. We're going to inflict 2 bleed, and that's really great. That is really good. It's going to allow us to do some really great things. I'll show you here, but essentially bleed, it's kind of like a slow bleed, similar to the powder keg where you're rolling to see what happens, but with bleed, let's see here. Yeah, so with bleed, during the upkeep phase, an opponent that's afflicted with this negative status effect token rolls 1 die. On 1 to 4, they are dealt 1 damage. On 5 to 6, they remove it. So, kind of has some similarities to the powder keg. But once it deals damage, it can continue to deal damage moving forward. But it can just hang out potentially, or you can remove it with a 5 or 6. The 1 through 4, activating it to deal damage is really great. And as you see here, it stacks up to 2. So 2 damage on the during each upkeep phase against that Cursed Pirate could be really, really great. So that was great. Now we're dealing 7 damage. So before we do that, we'll go ahead and roll the defensive dice. 4 dice for Ahoy Matey, Pirates defense. I'm gonna go and roll them. Yeah, not a great thing. I'm gonna deal 1 damage back and end up getting 3 combat points, which is good. I just running a little low on cards. So, I think I'm gonna let it play. But here's another good question too. I'm half tempted to use this, and I guess I probably should anyway. But a chosen player prevents 6 damage, so I could go ahead and do this right now. Prevent 6 of that damage. Only have to take 1 and deal 1 back. I tend to hold on to these for more of those undefendable damages, but it probably makes sense to play this now, so I think I will. And that's the cool thing again about Dice Throne. Like I don't have to play this until after I roll my defensive ability. That gets to take effect, and then I can play this card. So I will do that. I'm going to play this for 1 for the Cursed Pirate to only take 1 damage. I deal 1 damage back to the Huntress, and I ended up getting 3 combat points out of that as well. So, pretty good turn, all things considered. And yeah, that's the end of the turn. Huntress is gonna look at the cards. We're not playing anything in our second main phase, and so that's all done. Now we move back over to the Cursed Pirate. So, Cursed Pirate here. Before we do anything else, we'll do the upkeep phase here. And so we have to roll 2 dice because there's 2 bleed. Oh, 2 1s, not good. I might keep the Huntress around because Huntress is definitely fighting a little bit of a losing battle with Nira being down. But if we can get Nira back up, I think the Huntress can have a strong finish. But the bleeds are certainly going to help with that. So take 2 damage there. Then we go into our income phase. Draw a card and gain a combat point. Plenty of combat points, not enough cards, but a couple good cards that could help maybe mitigate some rolls here. Allow me to go for a stronger ability. I do only have one those cursed balloon tokens, so certainly gonna want to keep an eye on those. Ooh, so I've rolled 2 6s, a 5, a 1, and a 2. Like I said, I have rolled pretty well here to start. Have a decent advantage already. I'm very close to walk the plank. But the 2 6s have me tempted. I'm going to keep them. I'm also going to keep the 5 right now because I have tip it. I can tip that 5 to a 6. So sometimes I like to do that. So I'll leave that 5. I'm going to roll these 2 other dice. Oh, and that worked out really, really well. So now I have 3 6s, the 5, and a 2. So, let's see here. This is a tricky situation. So I actually already have, and I don't know if I've really recognized, Curse Pirate has a nice fallback for not getting the ultimate. Everyone's got that 4-6 option, but she also has 3 6s and her Cutlass option too, which is pretty good. So yeah, trying to think how I want to play this. I have one more roll and I have to tip it. I mean, it's dice are nice, so I definitely have to go for this. I also know Huntress could be messing with some dice here too. So I am going to roll this 2 again. Try and get another 6. Oh, and I got it. Oh, this is great. So I've got all the 6s. I'm out of rolls, but I will play tip it. And I'm going to tip that 5 to a 6. And now I have my ultimate. Now, it's not locked in yet, right? So, but this is a great time to say, hey, I have my ultimate. I'm going to trigger it. Is there anything you want to do? Huntress, of course, has to play tip it as well. And they're going to tip that 6. To a 4. Or, I guess they have to tip it to a 5, right? They have to tip it. That's the card. It's not a wild card, it's a tip it. So I tip it to a 5. So that takes us back down to black spot, which is actually really nice. Gives me a Curse to Bloom back, so I don't have to worry about going over to that curse side. I can inflict Parlay, which is a negative status effect token, which doesn't allow a player to deal any damage as a result of their offensive roll phase. So that would be nice as well. But I do have one card left. I could say try again, and roll that 5 again to see what happens. I don't think I'm going to do it. I'm going to just let black spot take effect. I get to gain a Curse to Bloom, and I get to inflict Parlay. Okay. And I get to deal 7 undefendable damage. Another great thing. I don't know if we remember, but the Huntress over here, first round of the game when she had an opportunity, got to do this. She's never rolled that defense. I've been dealing undefendable damage, and Nero took the damage so many times. So, yeah, that upgrade hasn't worked out. So yeah, 7 undefendable. Nothing here that would allow me to kind of prevent that or avoid that. So Huntress is taking another big hit, down to 28 to 42. Now, Curse Pirate did go first. Nero's been down a little bit. Curse Pirate also used a card that prevented 6 defense. So this is interesting. Okay, so everything's done. At the end of my turn, get rid of a Curse to Bloom. I picked that one up though, so I still have one left. Okay, on to the Huntress, get a card. So during my upkeep phase, nothing there. Nira goes up 1. Ooh, so this is really nice. So the card I just picked up is Resilient, gain Nira's Bond. I will go ahead. You know what? I'm gonna hold on to that. It's an instant action card. I'm gonna hold on to that. Now, I have the Parlay negative status effect. A player afflicted with this token may not deal any damage as a result of their offensive roll phase. At the conclusion of the roll phase, remove this token. So I already know. I'm not going to be able to attack here. So I could trigger that instant action card to get Nira's Bond immediately. And then heal Nira so that during my next upkeep phase, she would be ready to go. But based on my abilities here, knowing I'm not going to deal damage, I'm going to be going for a heal anyway. And so, yeah, I don't think I really need to spend that quite yet. So we're just going to go into our roll phase here. Rolled 1, 2, 4, 4, and 5. Looking at Resuscitate as what I really want to go for. I do have one of the bonded souls. I actually already have Predatory Advance, which allows me to heal Nira 1, which is what I would need. However, I'm going to miss out on that deal 5 damage. I really do want to go for that Resuscitate, so I'm going to roll everything else. Yes, I got the other 5. So it looks like Resuscitate is going to go into effect. Doesn't really matter since it's not upgraded what else I roll here. So I'm just going to let that go. And we're going to trigger that. Cursed Pirate. Can't do anything about it. So it's going to go into effect. So I gain Nira's Bond. And I heal Nira by 3. I'm very happy I didn't spend that instant action token because I can't have 2 Nira's Bonds. So that would have been wasted, but now I do have it. Okay, so Parlay token goes away. I'm not doing anything else. I don't have any. I'm not selling any cards. I'm not creating anything. So we're all done there. Back over to the Cursed Pirate. Cursed Pirate, during the upkeep phase, still has those 2 bleeds on her, so we're going to roll the dice. Bam, the bleeds are working. 2 and a 3 for 2 more damage on the Cursed Pirate. Down to 40. Alright, Cursed Pirate is going to get a combat point. Up to 7 now. And a card. Ooh, all those combat points paying off. Don't have very many cards, but I did just draw what status effect. Remove all status effect tokens from a chosen player for 2 combat points, so taking me down to 5, and allows me to remove the 2 bleed. I could get rid of Nira's Bond as well, but these bleed are a pain in the butt, so I'm going to get those off. And I get to get rid of multiple, so it seems like with that one, which seems like the right thing to do. Okay, nothing to upgrade, no main phase cards. We'll go right into my offensive roll phase. There. Oh, ooh. Very nice. Very simple action it looks like I'm going to take here, but fairly strong. So I'm going to go ahead and trigger my Cutlass Strike. I rolled 4 1s and a 3, so I've got the full deal 7 damage on 4 of a kind. 4 1s, I get to inflict a powder keg as well. Yeah, at this point game, I think that just makes sense. I don't think I want to mess with that. So we're going to deal 7 damage and inflict a powder keg on the Huntress. Now the Huntress is going to get to roll defense. So we're going to take 4 dice and we're going to roll those. Rolled 2 6s and 2 claws. And so for that, with my upgraded defense, I get to deal 2 damage for each 6 I roll, each saber-tooth symbol. So 2 damage, 38. And then if Nira is active, unfortunately she's not. I healed her, but haven't had the opportunity to flip her. So my 2 claws aren't doing me anything there. Could have really done some more damage there. That's okay. 2 damage is not bad, but I do have to take 7. So down to 21. 21 to 38. Curse Pirate's definitely got a lead here, but I think flipping Nira back, having Nira's bond, is definitely going to give the Huntress a chance here. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. So, last thing I'll do for the Curse Pirate's turn is get rid of that last doubloon. So unless I get one, I will be flipping this at the conclusion of my next phase. I'm out of Cursed Doubloons. Okay, so moving over to the Huntress now. We're going to go ahead and do our upkeep phase. First thing, we'll take this powder keg, see what happens with that. It is a 1. I believe that blows up. Yes, it does. So 3 more damage. It's taking 9 damage from powder kegs. And I don't know. Anytime I've played with the, takes me down to 18. Anytime I played with the Curse Pirate, that's so much damage is coming from the powder keg. You know, I think a lot of her player board looks, you know, a lot of 7 damage, 2 undefendable. Nothing looks super powerful, but you throw a number of those powder kegs into the mix, and she's a tough opponent to defend against for sure. Okay, so then we go into all the positive stuff. So 7 on the Nira dial. So we get to flip her back to the active side. Because we've done that, my attacks deal 2 more damage, which is great. I have Nira's bond, which I can now split damage, which is going to be good. And we already know I've got that instant action card that gives me another one of those. That's great. So I'll take a card and get a point as well, and another good roll phase card here. So we'll go into the roll phase. We'll roll the dice. Some spears and claws here. Nothing too exciting. I am close to predatory advance. Nira is not damaged, so that's not super helpful. 3, 4, good numbers for a straight, so I'm going to keep those and roll my spears. Oof. Interesting. So I have 4 claws and a spear, 2 3s, 2 4s. I swear this happens to me at least once a game when I play the Huntress, where I just blank. Her combination of dice just throw me off a little bit. I'm a 5 away from the predatory advance. I am just 1. You know what? I'm going to keep the 3 and the 4 again and see what happens. Oh, it worked out okay. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 now, with the 2 hanging out. So small, straight, inflict bleed, deal 4 damage, would become 6 now that Nira is active. I do have a couple cards here. I've got try again one more time. Could try and get that up to, but I need a very specific number of 5 on that other die. I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I might want those cards in case I get into a bit of a tough situation. So I'm going to lock that in and let that take effect. Nothing Curse Pirate can do about it at this time. So we are going to deal 6 damage and inflict a bleed. Cursed Pirate will roll 4 defense. Hit me back for 3. Oof. And gets a combat point, which is the last thing Cursed Pirate needs. So I'm going to take 3 damage. 15. 15. Then 15 on the Huntress. And didn't defend anything, so we got to take 6 damage over here on the Cursed Pirate. 32. So, pretty big gap here. But the Huntress has definitely got some stuff in her sleeve with Nira's bond. Nira active now. This could get kind of interesting. Okay, so moving over here, Cursed Pirate upkeep phase. We got to roll a die for the bleed. It's a 4. That's going to take effect, so we take a damage there. We get to draw a card, 2 cards now, and we get to gain a combat point. I do not need combat points. Oh, great. It's going to be a pain in the butt, but we got to do it. Cursed Pirate, inflict truce on an opponent. Or, I'm sorry. Card is truce, inflict parlay on an opponent. So that's going to cost me 3, taking me down to 4 combat points. And we get to inflict parlay. We already saw parlay. Last thing the Huntress wants is to not be able to attack, but that's the situation we've got ourselves in, unless we can find a way to get rid of that status effect. So, offensive roll phase now for the Cursed Pirate. There we go. 1, 2, 2, 4, 4. I don't love anything there. Close to X marks the spot, which could potentially allow us to draw some cards or gain some cursed doubloons. I'm a little bit worried about flipping to the other side of the board. I know I have this large lead, and I know I hit harder on that other side, but I'm going to be taking damage, and I know the Huntress has got some good ways to completely negate that damage from landing on the Huntress, splitting it up with Nira's bond, giving it all to Nira. So I'm not... X marks the spot doesn't seem too bad right now. We're going to go for that. I'm going to keep the 2 4s. I picked up another 4, and I might as well trigger that. Huntress is not going to do anything about that, I don't think. No. So, we're going to roll 3 dice. Gain a combat point, and roll 3 dice. On 2 chests, I draw 2 cards. That's exactly what I needed. And on a 6, gain a cursed doubloon. That actually worked out. I know I didn't deal damage, but we did inflict that parlay, so we know damage isn't really coming. Great, got some good roll face cards, so it's awesome. No damage, nothing else is happening. I'm not selling any cards. That is the end for the Cursed Pirate. Back over here to the Huntress. Okay. No status effects for the upkeep phase. Nira's active, so we're good there. So I have to draw a card. Oh, and that worked out just perfectly. And get a combat point. I just drew bye-bye. We all know what that means. We're going to go ahead and play that card to remove parlay. We want to be able to hit, and hopefully we can hit very, very hard. So we're going to go right into our roll face here. We don't have anything we want to upgrade. Yeah, so we're going to go right into this. Oh, what a bunch of 5s, which isn't what I want right now. Don't need to heal Nira. Really looking for straights, and and Sabertooth. That's really the best attacks I have right now. To try and kind of go for my ultimate or go for straight. So I'm going to keep the 2 and the 3. 2, 3, 5, 6. Oof. 2 claws. 2 spears. No, 2 claws, 1 spear. Whew, I don't have a lot of anything here. I am just 1 claw away from Savage, which, yeah, could result in a pretty nice roll. Getting another bleed, maybe inflicting. Didn't get rid of that Cursed Bloom that I picked up from the Cursed Pirate, so just took care of that real quick. I'm really not. I remember it, but I don't always do it at the right moment. Okay. Got one more roll here. I really do want to get a straight. I want to hit hard here. I got 5, 6. I got 2, 3. For Savage, I'm very close on. I think I'm gonna go for Savage. Yeah, we're gonna keep 3, 3, and 6. Roll 2 and a 5. I got a 1 and a 5, which is not what we want here. Not great. So I have some cards here. I can do one more time. I can do try again. I did not spend the combat points for goodbye, so I only have 2 combat points. What do I want to do here? Really struggling with this. Inflict a bleed to deal 4 damage. Those don't go together at all. We gotta try it again. I'm gonna play try again for 1 combat point. So roll. Keep my 3, 3, and 6 again from my 1 and 5. 2 and a 4, which I now have 2, 3, 4, 6, so no straight. But I did get Savage, so we're good there. I'm gonna deal 4 damage and roll 1 die. Yeah, nothing the Cursed Pirate can do about that. We roll the 1 die. It comes up as the 1 symbol I didn't want, the Bonded Soul, which gives me another nearest bond. I don't need a nearest bond. I really don't. So we're gonna deal 4, 5, 6 damage to the Cursed Pirate, which takes them down to 25. Now the Cursed Pirate will get to do some defense here on 4 damage. Wow. Yeah, this is. I don't think the Cursed Pirate has rolled that well defensively, but this is just a great example of I think what the Cursed Pirate can do and why you want to hit the Cursed Pirate really hard. So I rolled 2 6s, a 2, and a 5. What that actually ends up doing for me is I deal 1 damage. I gain 1 combat point. I'll give myself that combat point now. I'll deal that damage now. And I get to prevent 2 times the skulls. Well, 2 skulls allows me to prevent 4. So I'm going to get 4 of that back to go back to 29. That's fantastic. Fantastic defensive roll, for sure. Okay, that's it for the Huntress. Back over to the Cursed Pirate. So the Cursed Pirate is going to figure out what's happening with this bleed. It's a 2. That's another hit. 28. Those bleeds are a pain. Don't think they're quite. I think just because the powder kegs hit harder, they're so frustrating, but they're so fun at the same time. The bleed's just kind of, it's just irritating. But I've maybe made the mistake too many times of just leaving a bleed on a character, thinking, it's not gonna do that much, and it can. So, combat point in the card. Oof. And all right, I got Scurvy. You receive 1 damage, then inflict Wither on a chosen opponent. So, Wither, if a player with a Wither token would deal damage as a result of their offensive roll phase, reduce that damage by 1 per Wither token, and it's persistent. So, I gotta take the damage now, but it can have a lasting impact over here, knowing that could have a pretty big impact on the Huntress with limited damage and all the combat points I have. I think we're doing it. I'm gonna go ahead and spend the 2 combat points to take a damage and inflict Wither. So if a player with this token would deal damage as a result of their offensive roll phase, reduce it by 1. That's not great for the Huntress. Okay, everything else has been taken care of. We're going into the offensive roll phase. 1, 1, 2, 4, 6. I don't see anything immediately that jumps out to me. Part of me just wants to be dealing consistent damage here, and forcing the Huntress to use that bond and some of the other stuff she has. So, yeah, I'm half tempted to just kind of move forward with that Cutlass Strike. Nothing really jumps out to me as a straight. So yeah, we're gonna keep those. I picked up a 3 and a 6. So now I have 1, 2, 3, and another 1, and we'll roll it one more time. Got a 5. So I'm dealing 6 damage, and I don't have. I don't have anything here that's going to increase that. So we're gonna go with that 6 damage coming to the Huntress. So Huntress has some options here. We could split the damage, or we could have Nira take all the damage, immediately use Nira's bond then to heal Nira, which I don't hate. I don't hate that idea at all. I mean, the perfect way to play Nira is take her down to 1 damage, using Nira's bond, kind of splitting stuff up, or in this case, giving it all to Nira. And then when there's a big one, she gets it all, even if she only has 1 health left on that health dial. So, I think we're going to let, we don't have a lot of damage to play with on the Huntress right now. We're going to let Nira take all of that, and so she goes down to 1 health left. But we're going to spend this Nira's bond to immediately heal Nira by 2. And so that one's gone. And then we've got that instant action card that I still have 1 combat to play. We'll go ahead and play that now to gain Nira's bond again. And heal 2, be able to split. I think we're going to hold on to that right now. Okay. Curse Pirate doesn't have anything else to play. I am going to remember it this time though, but no Curse to Bloom to take. So, Curse Pirate flips sides. The only player like this, I think there's a few other players that are very unique. I don't play with the Artificer. Interested to see what people have to say about that. I don't play with that character too much, and I think that character is very unique. But I just feel like the Cursed Pirate is probably the most unique character they've come out with yet. The double-sided board, a deck full of cards that have no upgrades. I think the Powder Keg and the way Curse to Blooms work is really great. So, yeah, we're going to flip it over to the Cursed Pirate side. And next turn that the Cursed Pirate takes will be from this side. So abilities are more powerful. It's going to be hitting a lot harder, but dreaded passive ability now. I don't know how well you can see that. We have to take damage, 4 damage, during our upkeep phase. If our opponent's offensive roll phase does not result in an attack, they are inflicted with a powder keg. So, that's where that parlay could potentially come in handy too, forcing them to eventually get a powder keg. Just really cool. So, Cursed Pirate finishes up the turn. Damage went to Nira. We healed Nira a little bit. So now on to the Huntress, looking to maybe take a big punch here and even this up. This is going to be, I think, a very exciting finish. Okay, so upkeep phase. We're not healing Nira. Wither doesn't take effect in the upkeep phase, so we just get a card and a combat point for our income phase. And we just rolled Savage Slash for 1 combat point. I would love to play it. However, I do want to hold myself. I had some trouble rolling the last couple rolls. I want to be able to play this turn in case I need to. That one more time. So, I'm going to roll these dice. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6 sounds really nice to me. To try and get a straight going, because we definitely want a straight. We're gonna keep 4, 5, 6. We're gonna roll the other 2. 3, 4, 5, 6. Fantastic. And we're gonna roll the last one here, hoping for a 2. Didn't get it. Got another 6. So we're looking at the Onslaught, small straight. 4 damage, going to turn into 6 damage, which is good. That defensive roll, though, we've seen that with the Cursed Pirate. It's pretty tough. And the defensive roll didn't really change too much here, although we have an extra die for the Cursed Pirate on the defensive roll now. So I think we're going to go ahead and let this ride. Nothing the Cursed Pirate can do. Let me look here to make sure. Yeah, no, those are all roll phase actions, but only roll phase cards that impact you. Does that make sense? So, like, try again. You or a chosen teammate may reroll. Can't really play that on a defensive person. Chosen player may perform a reroll of up to dice, and then samesies. Change the value of one of your dice to be identical. So, those aren't going to help in this situation. So, the small straight now becomes 6 damage since Nira is active. We get to inflict a 2nd bleed. So, this is exciting. Cursed Pirate, every upkeep phase, has a chance of taking 6 damage with their passive ability and the 2 bleed. So, this game could change very quickly. Oof. So, 6 damage. We'll go ahead. I'm just going to give that now, so I don't forget. Down to 21. But the Cursed Pirate is going to roll some dice here. Yes, pretty good roll. Pretty good roll. Going to deal 3 damage back to us. And going to prevent 2 of that. So it goes back to 23. Got 1 chest, so combat point. Pretty good. Okay. Oh, forgot Wither. Wither's hanging out here, so actually should have been 1 less on the attack there. So we'll go back up to 24 for the Cursed Pirate. 24 to 11. Sounds like we've got a little bit of a gap here, but remember, Nira's active. I've got a Nira's Bond, and the Cursed Pirate board is flipped, so it's going to be real. Got some cards here. I don't think I'm doing anything with any of that. So, end of the Huntress's turn. Over to the Cursed Pirate. So let's take care of the first automatic thing we do on the upkeep phase. Passive, take 4 damage. So we're down to 20. And then 2 bleeds. So we'll roll for the bleeds. Rolled a 3 and a 6. The 6 is good news. That bleed goes away. But we'll take 1 damage for the other one. So 19 and gets to remove one of the bleeds. We'll make sure we give that back to the Cursed Pirate on a later turn. Okay, Cursed Pirate is going to be throwing down some damage here. So, I think what we're going to look at doing... Oh, we do get a card and a combat point, so I'm very excited. Oh, geez, the cards we're getting just aren't what we want. I might as well play this one, though. Getting paid, gain 2 combat points. But we have the opportunity here maybe to do something pretty cool with some of the dice we have. So, here we go. We're going to roll offensive roll phase for the Cursed Pirate. Flipped over to the other board. 1, 2, 3, 5, 5. We've got 3 colors already. On 3 of a kind inflict parlay. We have 2 5s. Ooh, the powder keg could be a good play right now for the straight. So yeah, I'm gonna keep the 1, 2, 3. We're gonna roll the 2 5s. We're either gonna get more swords or more numbers for the straight. Another 1. So 1, 1, 2, 3. And for our last roll, we'll go ahead and roll the 5. Got us a 6. So not really what we need. Now I do have samesies here. I could go ahead and turn that 6 into a 1, which will allow me to deal 9 damage and on 3 of a kind inflict powder keg. Whew. So this is tricky. This is where I'm trying not to misplay this for the Cursed Pirate. The damage can be negated no matter what. But the Huntress also, it has to be strategic about how this defense is split. So, I'll be interested to see what you guys think about how I played either sides of this here at the end. So we can deal 7 damage. I can do the samesies to make it 9. I don't see a huge advantage in doing that. Although if I made it 9, it would kind of force the Huntress to make a decision on how to play that Nira's Bond token, or just letting Nira take all of that damage. Ugh. The powder keg could do some stuff as well. Yeah, I really don't. I'm having a hard time deciding how I want to play this. I don't think I want to play too. I think I need to play pretty aggressive here, just knowing that I could be taking 6 damage at the start of my turn, and a solid play from the Huntress could put me in a real bad place. So I think what I'm going to do is, we're going to play for 1 combat point. I got the cards, I got the points. What am I waiting for? Play samesies to turn this into a 1. So allows me then to deal 9 damage and inflict a powder keg. So the powder keg is going to get inflicted. We're dealing 9 damage. The Huntress really has to think through how they want to use this. So I can spend Nira's Bond to give Nira 2 to make it 5. But then I can't split it. So what I would have to do is could take all 9 of it. Problem with that is powder keg could kill me on the next turn. I think the powder kegs just got me a little scared here. So, I really don't know how to play this. I think I've got to give it all to Nero. So I'm going to take Nero down to 0. Give it all to Nero. I will go ahead and use Nero's Bond immediately to go ahead and heal Nero by 2. Maybe we can get lucky here and heal Nero with the right thing, but I don't really think we want to be focusing on that this late in the game either. Okay, so that's where we're at with that. Nothing else from the Cursed Pirate here, so we'll go over here. We'll do the powder keg real quick. Oh, dangerous game here, right? So that powder keg can be tossed right back onto the Cursed Pirate too. I didn't even think of that. So we're gonna roll the die. It's a 4. I don't believe anything happens on a 4. It does not. 3, 4, or 5, nothing happens. So that's staying there. And then we get a card. Savage 2. A little late in the game for that. So we're just going to go ahead and spend it for another combat point. Main phase action, we'll definitely get this played. Basically, a chance to get 2 bleeds or 1 bleed. Either way, 1 bleed's going on. So I really don't even need to roll this. But on Claw or Sabertooth symbol, 2 bleeds. Otherwise, 1 bleed. Roll the Spear, so another bleed. So that's good. Alright. I've still got the one more time. I think I need to really go for it here. I mean, with the right, undefendable would be nice too. Otherwise, I could be getting hit so hard next turn. I might not be able to survive it. So I think I'm really looking for a very strong, if the ultimate presents itself, I may have to go for it. Otherwise, undefendable damage is just the best way to go. Okay, rolling dice. Although Resuscitate does bring Nero all the way back from, but not until my next upkeep phase. So I would have to, yeah, okay. Oh baby, 2 6s on the first roll. I think we all know what this means. We have to go for it. Can't play scared. We've got to go for it. Roll in the dice. 1 1 4. So now we're in a little bit of a problem. Do have the one more time, which is helpful. I really don't know what to do. Yeah, I'm rolling all 3 of them again. Oh baby. So I've got 3 6s, a 4, and a 5, which means I have absolutely nothing at the moment. I have one more time. A chosen player may perform a reroll of up to 5 dice during the offensive roll phase. I could do it hoping I can at least do Feral. 2 6s gets me Jungle Fury, my ultimate. But really, it's not looking great. I don't have anything else otherwise, so I think I have to go for it. 1 combat point for one more time. We're rolling them. Nothing. Oh, that might do it for the Huntress. Well, we don't know. We really don't know. Cursed Pirate could still mess this up in its phase. So nothing happens there. We can move on to the Cursed Pirate. So immediately take 4 damage, takes it down to 15. We'll roll the 2. Well, let me finish this passive here. But opponent's offensive roll phase does not result in an attack. They're inflicted with the powder keg. Oof. So boom, that one blows up. We get another one. Takes us down to 8 damage. That was just, maybe I really misplayed that. I don't know. But I was really trying to go for something there. So 2 dice for the bleed. 4 and 5. One of those takes effect, and one of those goes away. So we're down to 14 now. And we did not heal Nero 1 during our turn either. So. Okay. Card. Oh man, and a combat point. We're flush on combat points. Card. Lighted up another powder keg. 3 more damage. Basically, if anything happens here as far as an attack goes, I think the Huntress may be done. Okay. Yeah, and that's 4 2s. So this one's, I think this one's over, folks. Take a very impressive. No, nothing's gonna heal me here. 2, 2, 2, and 2 will roll. We got a 1. So we're gonna lock those in, dealing 9 damage, 3 of a kind, inflicting a powder keg. We can roll these to see what the final score ends up being. Well, this is it. So deal. Heal Nira 2, which Nira would, if we could have survived that, Nira would have flipped next turn. But I deal 1 damage back. I think it's a 13. And all 9 of that damage, plus the powder keg coming down on me. Not fun at all. There it is. Cursed Pirate survived with 13 left. A little bit more of the other side of the Cursed Pirate War than I've been used to. But yeah, I think I've definitely seen the Huntress is very tricky, but I think she is very, very good. It really is just knowing how to manage that relationship with Nira's bond. Keeping her active is so important. And I think just too much of this game she was down. I think that was probably a mistake I made incorrectly early in the game. Yeah, very interesting to play with. Cursed Pirate's always fun. There's a lot to think about and a lot to kind of manage, but I think she's an easy one for people to play. Always doing some decent attacks. Not having to worry about spending combat points on upgrades, and clearly you can see she's not someone who's ever light on combat points, I don't think, very often. So yeah, both these characters are certainly in the top of my favorite characters in the game. And yeah, hopefully the video was at least watchable. It's the first time I'm actually thinking about posting this, maybe on the Facebook page, just getting some people's thoughts, one on what they thought about the video, but 2, as you can see, there were some moments in the game where I made some decisions. I'd like to see how some other people would have played it. I think both of these characters, certainly towards the end of the game and how they're managed throughout, have some unique decisions that can be very dependent on just the choice you make on going one direction or the other. So I'd like to see what some people think about the decision I made. I'm sure I made some decisions people will think maybe weren't the smartest, and I think some of that might be trying to manage two characters. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'm gonna take a look at this and make sure it looks good, maybe edit some things a little bit, but I'd like to, yeah, I'm thinking about putting this up on the Facebook page and just giving people something to watch if they want to watch. So thanks, hope you enjoyed. Looking forward to seeing some maybe comments on the post. Have a good night.